These are some images with a disturbing backstories, and they are going to be more disturbing as we progress through the video. Case 1. When you look at this photo, you see a father and son smiling brightly on what appears to be a great day to be out and about. However, this simple picture marks an important piece of Irish history. The photo was taken on 15th of August 1998 on Market Street in the town of Omagh in Northern Ireland. The father and son were standing beside a red Vauxhall Cavalier car, which contained a bomb. Moments after the photo was taken, the bomb went off, killing 29 people and injuring 220 others. The camera was later discovered in the rubble. According to reports, the pair in the photo, Spanish native Gonzalo Quevedo and his son, miraculously survived the blast, but the photographer did not. The Omagh bombing was carried out by a group that called themselves the Real IRA, or the Real Irish Republican Army. They were a splinter group of the Provisional Irish Republican Army, IRA, and they opposed the IRA's ceasefire and the Good Friday Agreement, which was signed earlier that year. The bombing was the deadliest single incident of the Troubles, which was an ethnic nationalist conflict that occurred in Northern Ireland in the late 20th century. David Alexander Johnston, an American volcanologist, was the principal scientist on the USGS, United States Geological Survey, monitoring team. His career took him all over the United States, where he studied various volcanoes. As a talented and meticulous scientist, Johnston was known for his analyses of volcanic gases and their relationship to eruptions. His positive attitude and enthusiasm made his co-workers love and respect him. Johnston once famously told reporters that being on Mount St. Helens was akin to standing next to a dynamite keg and the fuse is lit. He was also one of the first volcanologists to arrive at the scene when signs of eruption first appeared. Shortly after his arrival, he was made the head of volcanic gas monitoring. In the months leading up to the eruption, Johnston and his co-workers saved thousands of lives by preventing people from going near the volcano. They sealed off the area despite facing tremendous pressure to reopen it. A number of USGS scientists were part of the team that monitored the volcano. For over 2 weeks before the eruption, graduate student Harry Glicken was manning the Coldwater 2 observation post, and he was supposed to be relieved by a USGS geologist named Don Swanson the evening before the eruption. However, for some reason, Swanson could not make it and asked Johnston to take his place, and he agreed. While manning the Coldwater 2 post, Johnston's main role was to observe the volcano and note further signs of an eruption. Before leaving the post on May 17th, around 13 hours before the eruption, Harry Glicken took the famous photograph that we see here. Johnston was sitting beside the observation post trailer with his notebook, smiling. The next morning on May 18th, around 8:32 a.m., the volcano erupted. Johnston was the first person to report the eruption, and he was able to make one last radio transmission saying, "Vancouver, Vancouver, this is it," before being swept away by a lateral blast. Case 3. In 2014, Darsh Patel, a 22-year-old student of Rutgers University, went hiking in the Apshawa Preserve in New Jersey with 4 of his friends. While exploring the 576-acre natural area, the group came across a black bear. They stopped and took pictures of the 300-pound beast with their cell phones. After taking the photos, the group started to walk away, but the bear had noticed them and it started walking towards them. Frightened by the approaching bear, the 5 friends split up and ran in different directions, but the bear kept chasing them. When the 4 of them regrouped after some time, they noticed that Patel was missing and they called the police. Upon arrival, the police searched the area, and after 2 hours, they discovered Patel's body. The bear was lingering around the body and was shot dead by one of the officers. Autopsy of the bear revealed that it had ingested human blood and tissue along with clothing, and it also had human blood on its paws. A few weeks later, the police released 6 photos that Patel had taken on his phone. The photos show how the bear approaching closer and closer. It eventually chased him and mauled him as he was trying to run away. Case 4. On July 16th, 2011, 17-year-old Tyler Hadley bludgeoned his parents to death, put their bodies in the master bedroom, and then threw a massive party at his house. Shortly before 5 in the evening that day, the Florida-based high school student took his parents' cell phone. He then took 3 ecstasy pills and went to stand behind his mother while she was working on the family computer. He then beat her with a hammer again and again until she was dead. After hearing the mother scream, Tyler's father rushed from the bedroom to the scene. They stared at each other for several moments before he, the same to his father. He spent 3 hours cleaning up the bloody mess, hid their bodies in the master bedroom, and got ready to throw the party of his lifetime. After murdering his parents, Tyler sent several Facebook messages to his friends, inviting them to his party. Since he had been grounded for days before this, his friends expressed concerns about whether or not his parents will let him have the party. To that, Tyler said that they won't be home. And when they asked him about the possibility of them showing up during the party, he coldly replied, "They won't trust me." After this, he stopped at an ATM and picked up some of his friends. Around 60 people gathered at his house, playing beer pong, drinking alcohol, smoking cigars, and causing a ruckus. That night, Tyler told Michael Mandel, his best friend, that he had bludgeoned his parents with a claw hammer. He took Michael to the master bedroom and all the blood that was there. After processing what Tyler had just told him and what he had just seen, Michael took that now infamous selfie, thinking that he would never see him again. Soon, the news of the crime spread, and Tyler was arrested the next morning. As a teen, Tyler was disturbed and had mental health issues. He was known for skipping school and taking drugs. His parents had also taken him to a psychiatrist and outpatient substance abuse and mental health programs. Tyler had also committed crimes such as arson in the past and expressed a desire to die. In 2014, he was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. Case 5. In 2011, authorities recovered the body of a woman from the Niagara River. She was later identified as Ayano Tokumasu, a 20-year-old international student from Japan. While visiting Niagara Falls with a friend, Tokumasu climbed over a railing to pose for a picture. She was straddling the railing to look at the falls, and when she stood up, she lost her footing and fell into the river 24 meters upstream from the brink of the falls. Moments before the tragic accident occurred, an Ontario-based couple was also taking pictures of themselves, and they captured what is thought to be the final moments of Tokumasu. In the photo, she can be seen in the background. She is wearing a red sweater and appears to be standing on top of the rock barrier. The picture does not show whether she was standing on the railing. The incident was captured in CCTV surveillance and no foul play was involved. Case 6. On August 20th, 1989, Lyle and Eric Menendez walked into the den of their parents' Beverly Hills home with a Mossberg 12-gauge shotgun. Jose and Kitty Menendez were sitting on the couch. Jose was shot in the back of his head. Awakened by the shots, Kitty Menendez got up from the couch and ran toward the hallway. She was shot in the leg, which caused her to slip on her own blood and fall. She was then shot several times in the chest, arm, and face, rendering her unrecognizable. Both the parents were also shot in the kneecaps to make it look like they had been murdered in connection with an organized crime. Later that night, Lyle Menendez called 911 and screamed, "Someone killed my parents." When the police arrived, the brothers told them that they had gone to the movies and then to a festival at the Santa Monica Civic Auditorium. The police did not suspect them, and they never asked them to go through a gunshot residue test to find out if they had used a firearm recently. Since there was little evidence against the brothers, the police failed to look more thoroughly into them. In the months following the murders, the brothers began spending their parents' insurance money lavishly. Lyle bought a Porsche Carrera, a Rolex watch, and a restaurant. His brother, Eric, hired a full-time tennis coach and participated in a number of tournaments in Israel. Eventually, they left the family mansion and decided to live in condos in Marina del Rey. They drove around town in their dead mother's Mercedes-Benz SL convertible, went on overseas trips, and dined at expensive restaurants. Experts say that they spent around $700,000 in the time between the murders and their arrest. At one point, the brothers had attended a basketball game and were photographed. They are believed to be in the background of the 1990-91 NBA trading card of basketball player Mark Jackson. Case 7. This picture, taken on a hiking trip, shows a woman lying in the background. The woman had gone hiking with her friend, but both of them fell and got severely injured. Unable to move, they were left there for a day until they were found by other hikers. The woman in the photograph survived, but her friend did not. In 2014, Ventura residents Brendan Vega and Sailor Gilliams, both 22-year-olds, went on a hike near Tangerine Falls. Both were fairly inexperienced, and they quickly realized that the terrain was more treacherous than they had initially anticipated. As the sun started to go down, the pair decided to head back to their car but was unable to find their way back. At one point, Sailor attempted to jump off a rock but landed badly and fractured her left leg. Things got worse from there. Their cell phones were dead and they did not have flashlights with them. Brendan tried to carry Sailor, but he fell and shattered his glasses. He also broke his elbow and Sailor's ankle. Since Sailor was unable to walk, Brendan decided to leave her at the spot and go look for help. That was the last time Sailor saw Brendan alive. By the next afternoon, Sailor had stopped screaming for help and she was lying face down in the leaves and mud, delirious and surrounded by flies. Around this time, a group of 3 hikers approached the area. One of them, a fourth-year resident at Hasbro Children's Hospital, saw red hair out of the corner of her eye and saw it move. Upon inspecting Sailor, she found that her injuries were potentially life-threatening. One of the 3 hikers used his cell phone to call 911, and emergency services arrived by helicopter soon after. Sailor was airlifted to a nearby hospital. 2 days later, she learned that Brendan had been found dead by another group of hikers. Authorities said that he fell 20 to 30 feet down a rocky ledge and was fatally wounded when he went looking for help. Case 8. This is the last photo of Thai diver Saman Kunan, who died while performing rescue operations at the Tam Luang Nang Nan cave in 2018. While supplying oxygen tanks to the group trapped inside the cave, Kunan lost consciousness underwater and died of asphyxiation. On the 23rd of June 2018, 12 members of a junior football team and their 25-year-old assistant coach went on a trip to the Tam Luang Nang Nan cave in Thailand. Shortly after they entered the cave, heavy rains partially flooded the cave and blocked their way out. Strong currents and rising water levels hampered efforts to locate the group, and they had no contact with the outside world for over a week. Eventually, rescue operations began and involved a massive team consisting of over 10,000 people. More than 100 divers, 900 police officers, scores of rescue workers, 2,000 soldiers, and representatives of around 100 government agencies were involved. Soon after rescue operations started, maintaining air supply became the #1 priority. Hundreds of rescue workers were present inside the cave, which depleted oxygen inside the chamber down to 15%. In the air, the normal oxygen level tends to be around 21%. That is why divers had to make several trips in and out of the cave to supply oxygen tanks. On the 5th of July, one of the rescue personnel, diver and former Thai Navy SEAL Saman Kunan, died of asphyxiation while supplying oxygen tanks to the trapped group. He lost consciousness underwater while on his way back from supplying air tanks. His dive buddy tried CPR but had no success. Kunan was brought to a different chamber where CPR was again administered, but they failed to resuscitate him. Kunan was pronounced dead around 1 a.m. on the 6th of July. Case 9. In 1975, 2 brothers climbed Morro Rock in California's Sequoia National Park and smiled big when posing for a photo that showed their hair standing up. Moments later, they were struck by lightning, and this photo has been used ever since to warn people about the signs of an impending lightning strike. In 1975, 2 brothers, 18-year-old Michael McQuilkin and 12-year-old Sean McQuilkin, went to Sequoia National Park with their other brother Sean and sister Mary and climbed Morro Rock. When they reached the summit, they noticed that the weather had worsened. Much to their surprise, the hair on their heads started standing up. Amused, their 15-year-old sister Mary took some pictures of the phenomenon. Little did they know that this photo will become famous and also be used for warning others. Years later, Michael McQuilkin remembered that when he raised his arm in the air, the ring he was wearing started buzzing so loudly that everyone else heard it. Unaware that these were signs of the presence of electricity in the air, the group left the summit. Soon, the temperature dropped, and with it came a hailstorm. They had not gone that far when disaster struck. A bolt of lightning struck the two brothers, and Michael remembered the incident as being engulfed in the brightest light he had ever seen. He also remembered a sensation of weightlessness, time slowing down, and a deafening explosion. When he came back to his senses, he realized that his brother, Sean, had also been struck. Sean had collapsed and was huddled on his knees. Smoke was coming out of his back. He rushed to his little brother and checked if he was breathing and had a pulse. Sean was alive, but he had suffered severe third-degree burns on his elbows and his back. Though the brothers survived the horrific incident, they made sure never to climb any mountain if there is a chance of a thunderstorm. Case 10. The photo shows two people, a man and a woman standing side by side. The photo is a still from a popular TV show called The Dating Game, which aired in the 1970s. The woman's name was Cheryl Bradshaw. The man beside her, Rodney James Alcala. At the time of his appearance, Rodney was in the middle of a murder spree. He committed 5 murders between 1977 and 1979. He would torment his victims by strangling them to unconsciousness, allowing them to regain consciousness, and then repeating the process again and again before killing them. He was described as a killing machine. His exact murder count is unknown, but he was caught and convicted for 7 murders. He appeared on The Dating Game as a successful photographer who got his start when his father found him in the darkroom at the age of 13, fully developed. Between takes, you might find him skydiving or motorcycling. He won the date with the bachelorette Cheryl Bradshaw. She, however, refused to go on a date with him, calling him creepy. He would later go on to murder 3 additional women after this appearance, and some speculate that the rejection was a driving factor. You can subscribe for more future videos like this, and videos are only going to get better from here onwards.